Welcome to Mac 1140, Exam 2. This is problem number 4 of the free response section. In this question, they go ahead and they present you with a price or demand, the same thing, function, and they go ahead and they say the domain of this is from 0 to 600 units. So X represents the number of units sold. So the first question is, what is the revenue function in terms of X? So we need to remember the formula for revenue. Revenue is just going to be X times P of X. P of X or little p, they're the same thing. They're not the same as big P. Big P is profit. So, and revenue makes sense, because this equation makes sense for revenue, because revenue is just how much money you're bringing in. So if little p tells you how much a particular item costs, and X is how many items you sell, then if you multiply the two together, you should get your total income. If you know apples cost $10 and you sell 5 apples, 5 times 10 is 50 bucks. That's how much money you're bringing in. So let's go ahead and actually write that equation out. It would just be X times this. So it's just going to be negative 1/4 X squared plus 100X. So that's it for the first question. Then the second part just says, what is the revenue if 6 units are sold? So that means you just take 6 and plug it into this equation right here. So you get negative 1/4 times 6 squared plus 100 times 6. 6 squared is 36, so this is just going to be negative 36 over 4 plus 600. Then we know that 36 divided by 4, we can simplify that down to, let's see, this would be 18 over 2, and then 18 over 2 boils down to 9. So this is just going to be negative 9 plus 600. And then if you go ahead and you figure that out, that's just going to be 591. So that means that your revenue for selling 6 items would be $591. So then they go ahead and they ask you, at what quantity will the revenue be maximized? So if this is our revenue equation, we can see it is actually an upside down parabola. Because it's x squared, meaning it's parabola, and it's got a negative out front. So if we know what an upside down parabola looks like, so just the following, then clearly the maximum is going to be where the vertex occurs. So they want to know the x value where the revenue would be maximized. So that means we can just use the vertex equation, minus b over 2a, to go ahead and find out where this revenue is maximized. So the max occurs at x equals minus b over 2a, because this is only your x coordinate. We're going to be asked to plug this back in to find our corresponding y value. But for right now, we can just go ahead and read this. We can see that negative 1/4 is your a, and 100 is your b, and there is no c, but we don't need a c, so that's all right. So it's minus 100 over 2 times negative 1/4. So then 2 times negative 1/4 is negative 1/2. The negatives are going to cancel out, so you'll just have 100 divided by 1/2. You can flip that 1/2 around, so it's actually 2 times 100, and it gives you 200. So that means you need to sell 200 units in order to maximize your revenue. So that's the answer to part C. So this was your answer to part A, and this was your answer to part B. Part D says, what is the maximum revenue? So this is where we can go ahead and take this 200 and plug it back into your revenue. Because we know that if this is where it occurs at, and this tells you what your revenue is, then R of 200 must give us our maximum revenue. So they'll tell us max revenue, so just go ahead and plug and chug. And finally, for part E, it says, what price should the company charge to obtain maximum revenue? So what price should we charge to obtain maximum revenue? Well, we know that if you sell 200 units to maximize revenue, and they want to know how much we should charge to maximize revenue, that's basically just asking you what is demand or what is price at 200 units. So we can just go ahead and say little p of 200. Whatever that comes out to be, that must be the price that we have to charge. And then that is your final solution.